Now, if we aren't careful, we fall into a trap. You know, some of us feel that after you've done 6 and 7, what you've really done is say, okay, God, here I am. Give me the $29.95 special and everything will be great from here on. No, God won't do for us what we can do for ourselves. He'll do what we can't do, but He will not do what we can do. If I want God to take away character defects, then I'm going to have to try my utmost with God's help to become the opposite. If I want Him to take away unselfishness, then I'm going to have to muster all the willpower I can and with all of God's help I can get and try to be unselfish in any particular situation. If I want Him to take away dishonesty, then I'm going to have to practice honesty. And that's not natural for me to do that. That's hard for me to do. If I want Him to take away fear, then with God's help and all the willpower I can muster, I'm going to have to start trying to practice courage. If I want Him to take away inconsideration, then I'm going to have to start trying to consider what other people want. And slowly, over a period of time, I can change my personality. See, my mind is nothing more than a set of mental habits. They've been ingrained in my mind throughout my entire lifetime. I worked at getting sick. I didn't just wake up one morning sick. I worked at becoming selfish and dishonest and frightful and inconsiderate. And if I'm going to change that situation, I'm going to have to work at changing it. And slowly, as God takes away and as I practice the opposite, I begin to find myself with a little bit of unselfishness. I begin to find myself operating on honesty once in a while. I even begin to find that I've got enough courage to do some things that I could never do before, and I've got enough courage to quit doing some things I thought was so important. I even find that sometimes I consider what you want before I consider what I want. And to my amazement, I find that this way of living makes me feel better. I didn't know that if you were unselfish, you would feel better about yourself. I didn't know that if you lived honestly, you don't have to have so much fear because you don't have to worry about what they're going to do when they catch you. You don't have to worry about what lies you told last week. I didn't know that if you operated on courage, you would build your self-esteem. I didn't know that there is great pleasure in doing for other people before you do for yourself. How could I have known that? I had never been that way before. You see, we're doing something which is absolutely unnatural for we alcoholics. And you've got to work to change that condition. And with God removing and with me practicing, the two of us working together, finally I become a different person. Oh, I'm not near as selfish as I used to be. In most cases, I'm honest. I usually practice courage today. I normally consider what other people want first. Not always, but usually I do. This is a slow process that I think I'm going to be involved in for the rest of my life. These are the steps we took, not the steps God took. God doesn't need these steps. We're the ones that need them. All He's going to do is help us take these steps. He will not take them for us. Joe?
Yeah, Charlie, it said these are our steps. 6 and 7 are things that we have to work. And as we apply these steps, I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 give us these 2 steps. And these are the changing steps. Sometimes we don't really look at step 6 and 7 apart. But if we had an inventory, talked them over with other person, we wouldn't have had the tools to change. But the real tools to change are 6 and 7. And it's how we apply these steps to our life. We see the damaging effect of these things in our character. Now they are objectionable to us. We're willing to let go of them. So we go to work. And step 6 and 7 are very simple steps. But they are hard. It's simple but not easy. And I think that we are very blessed people. You know, I see people every day in their lives. All people. I'm very interested in people. And I see a lot of people and I really feel sorry for them in a way. Because whatever they are, they seem to be trapped in it. But we have the opportunity to change. I have had the opportunity to live 2 lives in one lifetime. I have had the 2, 6 and 7 were given to me through these earlier steps to change my life. And change is very difficult. And I look at these tools like I've been to the hardware store and I buy a lot of tools in my work. And I work with alcoholics and they're always tearing up something. like a bunch of little kids. I go to the hardware store almost every day to buy something. And I bought a lot of tools. But you know, step 6 and 7 is like a pick and a shovel. Usually when you buy a tool, it has an instruction on how to use it. But I've never seen a pick and a shovel with instructions on it. You're supposed to know how to use those things when you get one. And step 6 is very difficult. How do you change your person? How do you change your character? Well, I'll tell you how you change it. Step 6 is you don't do what you want to do. You know, if you do what you want to do, if you lend actions to your old way of thinking, they will grow in your mind. And they will become a part of your character because that's the way you got them. So it's very hard to not do what you want to do. That's step 6. And step 7 is simple. It's hard. Make yourself do what you don't want to do. You know, and as you quit practicing that old thing and you start forcing your way to do the new thing, and as just Charlie said, once you get the benefit out of that, and you see how great it is and reward you get from it, then that will become a part of your character. The old idea will be cast aside and new thoughts begin to dominate your mind. Once we see these things are objectionable, we don't want those anymore. So we make ourselves practice something new. So we work against ourselves. You know, it's just like losing weight. Our bodies are, the principle is the same. Principles are universal. They go from one area to the other. Our bodies our minds, our bodies are results of the food that we put into it. Our minds, our personalities are the results of the thoughts that we have put into them. We put them in there. We can change them. Now, how do you change the body? Well, they got some things on TV. I watch TV sometimes. They say you can, on this diet plan, you can eat everything you want and lose weight. 30 days. You lose some money, but you won't lose no weight. Now, there's a way to lose weight. Well, how do we lose weight? Well, simple. The way you lose weight is you don't eat what you want to eat. Huh? Then you make yourself eat something you don't want to eat. And you will change your body. Same thing will work on your mind. Same thing will work on your mind. There was a great writer, Paul, in the big book. He said, I didn't know what it was until I maybe learned these 2 steps. And he said the same thing. He said, change, successful living is daily dying. You know, we got to die somewhere. And part of our character so that we can live somewhere. And only we can slay ourselves. Only we can do that job. With these tools. And I feel very blessed to have the opportunity of having this in my life. You know, I used to be, whatever I was trapped in it. But I am not trapped anymore. You know, these 2 steps has opened the door for me for change. When we get these 2 steps and get these tools in our life, when we learn something, we have a responsibility that we didn't have before. You know, as you grow up, you have more responsibility. And once you get to 2s or 6 or 7, the ability to change, you got a lot of responsibility. Because if you can change, you can't blame nobody else no more. It's your fault. Boy, that's everything costs something. I can't say it's her fault. I can't say it's his fault. I can't say it's the government's fault. I can't say it's God's fault. Hell, it's my fault. Because I can change. And I thank God, you know, that we do it. These are the 2 most powerful instruments that a human can have in his life. Step 6 and 7. You know, we know it, but we can only use these steps unless we effectively got all the information from 1, 2, and 3, or 4, and 5. They put us in a position for these 2 changing tools to be put to use.
2 of the shortest steps in the big book.
Most powerful.
But the most powerful steps in the big book. I think I now know what they mean when they say some of us tried to hold on to our old ideas and the result was nil. Some of us tried to keep that old selfish personality. Some of us kept trying to live dishonestly. Some of us kept doing things we shouldn't do. The result was nil. But if the old ideas are cast aside and replaced with a new set, then we become absolutely different people. And we begin to find that we live with some peace of mind, serenity, and happiness. And my God, it's great. It really is. For people that have never been sober and felt this way at the same time, It's something that is indescribably wonderful.